Welcome into the Blue Demon Room podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. DePaul Athletics is so excited to be hosting this special podcast where we talk to student athletes, coaches, and alumni of the DePaul Blue Demons. I'm your host, Casey Standahart. And I'm thrilled to introduce our very first guest on the podcast, women's soccer coach Michele O'Brien. Michele, thanks for coming on and being our very first guest.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be here and excited to join you.
Is this your first podcast?
This is not my first podcast.
So you've done a couple. So you seem nervous, but I feel like you're going to be a pro.
I'll be okay once we get going.
Awesome. Well, Coach, I want to get into the season first. It is your third season as the DePaul head women's soccer coach, but you've been with the program since 2009 as an assistant. What was that transition like from assistant to head coach?
Yeah, there's nothing like being a head coach. You know, it's definitely poses its challenges. You know, I think the best preparation to be a head coach is putting in the time as an assistant coach and an associate head coach. And then really once you take over, you know, it's a whole new learning experience. You know, making all the decisions and really having all of the pressure and the excitement as well. But absolutely been a really amazing experience so far, and every day I learn something brand new. And that's the beauty of this profession, is every day you're learning and growing, and really excited to continue on this journey and continue to grow as a coach and as a program.
What is most important to you as a head coach?
That's a tough question. You know, I think there's a lot of enjoyment that you get out of this, you know, profession, and a ton of fulfillment. But I think it's got to be the relationships with the players and the growth. You know, players begin the recruiting process in their high school years, bringing them on campus and seeing the excitement that they get from going to college eventually, and then when they commit to DePaul, it's a great day for them, and it's just a really exciting path watching them, you know, embark on deciding where they're going to go to college. And then eventually they get here, and that excitement, and really coaching them throughout their career here, and hopefully at the end of their journey they graduate on senior day and they've had, you know, an amazing experience at DePaul. And to know that myself and the rest of the staff has had such an influence over that is really rewarding. And at the end of the day, you know, that's what it's about, is the memories and the growth and the development and all of those values that you really get to instill in these young women as they then go off into the real world and do amazing things. You mentioned the young women that you're lucky to be able to coach. What's it like traveling with 31 young female student athletes? It's tough, you know, it's tough, but you know, I've been really fortunate that, you know, the players and the student athletes that we bring into DePaul are very disciplined. You know, they want to be good soccer players. They want to be good academically. They want to be great teammates. And, you know, I'm lucky, you know, they follow the rules on the road. So I have to say that I've been fortunate. Well, at least I haven't heard about it. So that's a positive. Yeah, but, that you know of. Yes, it's a fun time. You know, they have their moments on the bus where they're really loud and, you know, then they're having fun. And that's really also what it's about, is those road trips and those memories and time on the bus and, you know, traveling to the East Coast on airplanes and staying in hotels and team dinners. And that's really when you get to know players and get to spend a lot of time with them and really develop some great team chemistry. Talking about that team chemistry, 10 freshmen just joined in mid-July. So there's a lot of chemistry still left to build, I'm sure. But you guys are in the middle of preseason already. Some of these players are international athletes from Sweden and Switzerland. Tell us about some of the new freshmen. Well, the funny thing is the Swedish player I'm actually picking up at the airport tonight. Nice. She was having some visa complications, so she'll be a little late. So it will be really important that we integrate her and make her feel super welcome. You know, and our player from Switzerland and, you know, other freshmen as well, it's a huge transition. So we really are mindful of that transition, and at the end of the day want to make them feel welcome and comfortable and integrated with the team. And again, our team culture is very strong, and our older players do a really excellent job of making them feel welcome and helping them navigate the day-to-day logistics of just, where to put your gear and what to bring out to training and, how to register for classes or whatever the case is. And they're very helpful with that. We do a lot of dinners where we'll split them up and put them in small groups, and we'll be sure to put a freshman with a sophomore, junior, senior, and we kind of send them off in groups of 4s and 5s, which is really important too, to break it down and make sure they're socializing with different people and getting to know their teammates on a different level.
You guys just traveled to Milwaukee for a preseason opener, Michigan State coming up, so these early games, maybe not as high stakes. What are those games teaching you about your group so far?
Yeah, they're really valuable, these exhibition games. They teach a lot about us helping identify, the lineups we want to put out and what might work for us in different scenarios. So from, a tactical standpoint, they're absolutely super valuable. And, from a character standpoint too, I think, who's going to go out and be willing to battle and fight for every moment, which we talk about a lot, and who's gonna put their body on the line to defend a shot or slide to get on the end of a serve to score a goal. And for some players, it's definitely the younger ones, it's a transition. But I think we put them in an environment that's super competitive to hopefully prepare them for those game situations. But there's nothing like game day. There's nothing like the intensity of game day, and it's a fast reality check once they step out on the field. But it's really fun to watch them grow and watch players evolve differently and step up at different times throughout the season, and who's willing to put their mark on the program and kind of be grinding day in and day out.
I want to go back now to baby Michele. If you can go back with me in time, when did you know you loved soccer, wanted to play, wanted to coach, and have soccer be such a big part of your life?
I would say I was probably about 4 years old. I had an older sister, 2 years older than me. So, my parents got her involved in it, and naturally I kind of followed what she did. And, we had each other to play with outside, and, my parents were big into play outside and don't come in till the sun goes down. So we, vividly remember playing kick up and down the driveway. That's what we called it. And we would just stand outside and pass the ball back and forth up and down the driveway as kids. And, we went from one sport to the other, to be honest. And we had a basketball hoop, and we'd play catch with our softball gloves, and then we get the lacrosse sticks out, and we kind of would just play sports all day long. So definitely loved being active as a kid, for sure.
Who was the biggest influence in that time? Which parent, or was it maybe a friend, cousin, aunt, uncle?
Yeah, I'd say each family member had a different role. My mom had the role of, are you having fun, and you're doing great. And my dad, a little bit more to the point of, it wasn't your best game. Let's get out there and, do these things maybe next time, but still very supportive. A lot of competitiveness in a fun way growing up. My dad would say to me, my sister, why don't you guys get on the line and race, and so everything was always competitive in a fun way, though. So always felt supported and never pressure.
That's good.
Yes.
I want to fast forward a little bit to high school when you suffered a heart attack and you required open heart surgery. That moment, what do you remember most about it?
Yeah, so I actually had heart surgery when I was 4 years old as well. And, that was tough on my family for sure. I have a son now who's 5 and a daughter who's 8, and to think of what I would have had to, go through as a parent is hard. But that was a pretty routine surgery, if you want to call it that, for a 4-year-old. And then 10 years later, was a freshman year in high school. I remember it very clearly. Was in gym class, again, playing competitively with one of my best friends at the time. We were playing floor hockey. And really, I just got really tired. It wasn't anything crazy that necessarily happened in the moment. But then gym class was over, went in the locker room, and really just was so fatigued I couldn't really barely stand up. And just really had a lot of pain in my back, which was pretty interesting. And then obviously went to the nurse and kind of explained the symptoms, but they called my mom to come pick me up. And, she'll always remember that moment, and she knew right away. She was like,
I was going to ask you
different.
that. Yeah. Was that always kind of a cause for concern, knowing that you had that surgery when you were 4? Did you know this could come up again?
Maybe in the back of my parents' mind, they might have always been thinking it was never anything that was fearful or, don't do this because something might happen. That was never the case. It was live your life and do your thing, and went for annual physicals and checkups and kind of based it off of that. So it really was out of the blue, the second time around. But, and then that day, my mom obviously knew something was not right, took me straight to the cardiologist. I ran some blood work, didn't find out right away, went home, and just again remember being just really fatigued and really tired, sleeping a lot. And then cardiologist called and explained the situation of what happened, and then really had to get rushed back for kind of an emergency procedure right away. To deal with the immediate situation, and then was able to spend about 2 months evaluating the next steps. That was in March of my senior year, so by May of my freshman year, they were able to decide the best course of action.
How did your parents feel about letting you continue to play sports, knowing that was there?
Yeah, I think it was really tough. That was freshman year. So my whole sophomore year, I pretty much missed a lot of school, missed sports that whole year before they were able to figure out the best plan for me. And then kind of took it upon myself after kind of getting cleared, I guess you could say. I was like, I'm just going to do this because I'm young and I don't want to miss everything. And eventually got the go-ahead from the doctors, and then by my junior year of high school, I was back playing soccer in the fall of that year.
Everything else was smooth sailing since?
Smooth sailing since, yes.
That's great. That's good to hear. If you were in your parents' shoes, now that you're a mother yourself, do you think you would continue to let your children play?
I do. I think you gotta, you can't let fear get the most of you. You gotta trust that your body might be stronger than you believe it is. And, I think you gotta go with your heart and your gut and do what you love to do and kind of hope for the best.
Sure. Literally go with your heart.
Yep.
So moving on to college, and after college, your first professional team was the Long Island Lady Riders. How was that transition from high school, college, and then your professional career starting up?
Yeah, I think, high school to college is a big transition, and then you kind of get through college, and a lot of players are at a crossroads of, do I continue playing or kind of, go into the real world and work, and I just was not ready for that. I wanted to play and keep playing and maximize my potential and really continue to play at the highest level I possibly could play at. But that's another level. You're playing with women, all different ages, different experiences. Definitely the level is that much greater. Everybody's good. Everybody was good in college. Now everybody's, good here. So definitely another transition. And then playing abroad in Europe was very challenging. A totally different style of play that I had to get used to and adjusted to. So, but all great experiences to continue to help me as an athlete reach my potential and to see different perspectives of the game.
You mentioned playing in England with Arsenal, which is so cool to say, by the way. How did you get recruited, and what was that difference that you felt? You said it was just all different levels of play, different styles. So how was that recruitment process like, and how did that kind of make you a better player?
I had a friend and a coach who had connections there, and she kind of set me up with the opportunity. And I was lucky because I had an Irish passport because my grandparents were from Ireland. So I was able to easily live abroad in Europe and not have to worry about work visas or any of that. So that made it definitely a more seamless transition where I can play and work and live and not really have to worry about the visas. So, that was a really great experience, playing at a top club and experiencing, that level. And not only playing on the team, I was fortunate I got to work at the men's training ground and work in the laundry room, which was really cool. It sounds worse than it is.
Yeah,
but
what
it
do you
was
mean
top
cool?
notch. We got to be behind the scenes
Sure.
and see the players and just experience what it's like to work at a top class football club. So it was a really cool experience for
That's
sure.
awesome. You mentioned your Irish heritage. You played as well for the Republic of Ireland's team from 2003 to 2012. I was going to say why Ireland, but it sounds like it was a family influential choice.
Yes, so dual citizenship, never quite made it to the elite level to play for the American national team. And was fortunate that I had that experience to be able to play for Ireland. I played 65 times for the country, played in a lot of, big qualifying events, got to travel to tons of different countries and play in some fun big games. I got to play the U.S. team maybe 5 times or so. So it was a really fun experience.
After finishing out that professional career, you went on with the Chicago Red 11, transitioning into coaching for New York University. How did it feel to stop playing after so long?
Yeah, it was tough. I actually moved out to Chicago in, was it 2008-ish? I was playing for Chicago Red 11, and then, realized should probably get into some more competitive college coaching, and the time had come for playing, which is when I was fortunate enough that the DePaul job had been available as an assistant. At the time, the head coach was Aaron Chastain, who I personally didn't know, but the timing worked out great, and we connected really well, and grateful to her for giving me the opportunity to work with her and be at DePaul and work in the Big East and for a great institution.
I want to know, honestly, tell us, do you like playing under the CTA train?
I do. I honestly do. I think it's definitely a home field advantage. I've heard some crazy stories of other teams and their preparation to come here where they play train noises on a speaker. They do all kinds of crazy stuff. They make the field they think it's really tight, so they'll change the dimensions of their training field to match ours. So we really use it as, a home field advantage, and
Yeah, I love
hopefully
that.
it's a good distraction.
That's cool. It's like fuel, and it makes DePaul soccer.
Exactly.
I love that. Your number one lesson from your entire career that spanned many, many years, what is that one thing that you try to instill in your players?
Play with your whole heart. You really have to. You just can't hold back. You never know when it could be your last training session or the last time you get to step on the field. So, and I get it. It's hard to motivate every single day to show up to training, and, it's a lot to manage with school and social life and just the physical demands and the mental demands of it, but you really need to take a deep breath before every training session and just show gratitude for the opportunity that, you get to compete in the sport you love, and, don't take that moment for granted. I think is really the most important, and obviously personally knowing what that feels like to, have a setback and then be able to come back really highlights the importance of that mentality every single day.
I love that. And
Yeah.
it sounds like you were able to help your Swedish player with some work visa issues as well, because you've had, similar experiences. Luckily, yours was not an issue, but
Yeah.
very cool. We talked about your family a little bit. Your husband, Blair, works for the DePaul Athletic Department in the facilities department. How did you guys meet?
We met here, obviously at DePaul. Mm-hmm. We had probably worked together for, it must have been at least 3 years, because, we kind of started dating in 2012, and I started in 2009. Didn't think twice, really. Socialized occasionally. He'd be out on the field. He kind of keeps to himself, so it wasn't really a lot of interaction. And then, the head coach, Aaron, at the time, and the other assistant, Tina, at the time, who's a great friend of mine now, would always be joking, like, oh, you and Blair should get together, And then they'd look out Aaron's window, and we could see the soccer fields, and they'd be like, there's Blair. And I was like, yeah, he's really cute. And then we were at
Who asked who out first?
We were at a going away party for Marty Murphy, who works in the ticketing, who's actually now back, which is amazing. But they had a huge party at Kelly's for him. And so the whole department was there, and who knows what happened after that, but yeah.
That kind of sparked everything.
Kind of sparked everything, yes.
Love it. And you are a mother. Does your family share your love for sports as well, and soccer in general?
Yes, we are a sports family. Blair's a huge sports guy, played soccer. He's a Cubs fan. He's a baseball guy. I think we love all sports.
Love
so we definitely have the kids are in sports. They're in soccer, both of them. My son plays baseball. So, yes, definitely all have a love for sports.
Amazing. Well, Coach, thank you for those tough questions. That was the toughest part.
Oh, okay.
I want to move on to a fun little segment that we're going to do, a this or that segment.
Okay.
So you don't even have to think twice here.
Okay.
First answer that comes to your mind, all right?
All right.
Premier League or League of Ireland?
Premier League.
Chicago or New York?
Ooh, Chicago.
You hesitated there.
It's tough.
New York is a fun city. More likely to watch swimming or gymnastics?
Swimming.
Text or call?
Call.
Playing or coaching?
Playing.
Another tough one. Grilled chicken or fried chicken?
Grilled chicken.
The healthier option.
Yeah.
Wake up early or stay out late?
Wake up early.
Chicago Art Museum or the Shed Aquarium?
Shed Aquarium.
Chapel Roan or Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift.
That's a tough one. Rap or pop music?
Ooh, my old days, I'm going to go rap.
Love it. Messi or Ronaldo?
Oh, it's funny you say that. That's a big debate in my family, but I'm going to go Ronaldo.
Why is it a big debate?
Oh, I think Ronaldo works so hard for everything he's got.
Love it.
I got to appreciate the hard work.
LeBron James or Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan.
That's a hot topic in Chicago,
Yeah.
too. Play in the rain or play in extreme heat?
Extreme heat.
Ooh, I don't think I'd pick that.
No, not a lot of people do.
Cubs or Sox?
Cubs.
Comedy or drama?
Drama.
Music or podcasts?
Ooh, podcasts.
Of course, this podcast,
Yeah.
obviously. Walk 30 miles or run 10?
Run 10.
100 squats or 100 sit-ups?
100 squats.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do you make
Leg
the girls do
burner.
those too?
Yeah, once in a while.
Love it. Well, Coach, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time today. It was really fun to talk to you. I hope you enjoyed it as well.
Yes, I did. Thank you so much for having me. I was honored to be here.
The women's soccer team plays their first regular season match on Thursday, August 15th against Northern Illinois University right here at Wish Field in Lincoln Park. We hope to see you there.